The Roll family has been hit with heartbreaking news. Bunnie Xo, wife of country rapper Jelly Roll and beloved podcast host, recently revealed a serious health scare that's left fans deeply concerned. Though she hasn't shared all the details, her emotional message hinted at a life-changing diagnosis. Jelly Roll, who often calls Bunnie his rock, reportedly stands strong beside her. What exactly is this diagnosis, and how could it change everything for the family? Join us as we uncover the details of the tragic diagnosis that has Jelly Roll's wife in tears. Biggest fear coming to fruition. For many people, their greatest fears might be plummeting from a towering building, losing a limb, getting stabbed in the dark, or being trapped inside a claustrophobic elevator. But for Bunnie Xo, her deepest, most paralyzing fear has always been one thing: suffering an aneurysm. This terrifying fear didn't come out of nowhere. Bunnie's mother had once endured a brutal, life-threatening aneurysm that ruptured, nearly costing her life. That traumatic experience left a lasting, painful imprint on Bunnie's heart. So, when her own body began sending unusual signals, the fear she'd spent years suppressing crept back to the surface. On an emotional episode of her podcast, Dumb Blonde, Bunnie opened up about what she called a death scare. She explained how she'd been battling frequent, throbbing headaches, especially after eating certain foods. At first, she assumed it was just salty meals triggering the pain. But something didn't sit right. Trusting her instincts, she scheduled an MRI scan. The results were gut-wrenching. Doctors found an aneurysm on her carotid artery, an extremely delicate and dangerous spot. Shaken but determined to know more, she immediately underwent a CT scan the very next morning. Once again, the same frightening diagnosis came through: a 2-millimeter aneurysm. Hearing the words felt like her world was crashing down. She felt her biggest nightmare was now her chilling reality. The fear, already intense, became unbearable as memories of her mother's suffering flooded her mind. The emotional weight was crushing. For Bunnie and her husband, Jelly Roll, this was a heartbreaking chapter. He had always described Bunnie as the bright, joyful force in his life, the light that pulled him out of his darkest moments. The thought of losing her was unthinkable. The couple, known for their strength and love, suddenly found themselves facing a frightening storm of uncertainty. Bunnie's mental health took a deep dive. Her anxiety skyrocketed, her sleep vanished, and her body reacted with intense stress. Diarrhea, panic, and emotional exhaustion became her daily reality. Living with the knowledge that her worst fear was now part of her life was an emotional blow. It didn't just shake her, it shattered her. And yet, despite the fear and pain, Bunnie found the courage to speak her truth to the world. But what past battles shaped her into the fierce, fearless woman she is today? Bunnie Xo's journey from chaos. Fondly referred to as Bunnie Xo, Alyssa DeFord is an entrepreneur, model, and a podcaster. The 45-year-old entrepreneur was born on the 22nd of January 1980 and grew up in Nashville, Tennessee. At a young age, she developed a passion to be creative and a desire to be successful. She had a really strong drive to be a big name in the creative industry. Just like her husband, Jelly Roll, she didn't have the perfect model of parents. Her mom was also an addict, and she left the entire family 3 months after Bunnie was born. Bunnie was single-handedly raised by her musician dad. From a very young age, she got exposed to television content on intimacy, substance use, and all things inappropriate for her age. As she approached her teenage years, things changed around the house. Her father got married to another woman, and she suffered physical and verbal abuse from her stepmother. After moving to Texas, she started stripping at the age of 21 for the next 11 years. She did this whilst enjoying a sense of fulfillment before she decided to take it a notch higher. She ventured into being an escort. As of 2018, Bunnie decided it was time to take a different path. she founded her personal brand, the Bunnie Xo brand, and launched her podcast, Dumb Blonde. This podcast hosts discussions about relationships, comedy, lifestyle, and life experiences in general. Hosting this podcast on a weekly basis while inviting socialites and other celebrities has not only enhanced her social interactions, but has also helped with the credibility of her personal brand. Day by day, the podcast has grown in popularity and prominence while attracting guests from different industries. A few of the notable guests brought on board are Brittany Ferlin Lee, Dr. Sarah Hensley, Tyler Henry, Jason Alexander, and Sloan Bella. Bunnie has a massive online presence on social media. On Instagram, she has about 2 million followers, 988,000 subscribers on YouTube, and 7.4 million followers on TikTok. In the earlier stage of her life as a model, she has made several television and magazine appearances. Beyond podcasting and modeling, she sells various merchandise, some of which include hoodies, t-shirts, caps, and necklaces. Despite having neither the best form of upbringing nor the smoothest childhood, Bunnie has been able to shape her life and path. Like her husband, Jelly Roll, she has been able to make meaning out of the chaos she was born into and grew up in. Now, let's talk about the man that has stood beside her through a diagnosis that threatened her happiness. Who is Jelly Roll? Jelly Roll's rise from ashes. Jason Bradley DeFord, popularly known as Jelly Roll, is a successful American singer and rapper. Born on December 4, 1984 in Nashville, Tennessee, the 41-year-old singer worked his way to the top, despite having a turbulent childhood and adolescence. Jelly Roll is known for his creativity and great use of storytelling in his songs. Some of his hit songs are I'm Not Okay, Need a Favor, and Save Me. Unknown to many, his very rocky background has served as a source of inspiration for many of his songs. Growing up, Jelly didn't have the perfect example of parents to look up to. For the most part of his childhood, he knew his mother to be a drug addict, who also had some mental issues. When he was 13, his parents got divorced, and he was left in the custody of his mom, with the responsibility of taking care of her. To do this, he ventured into selling drugs. This, however, was the beginning of his trials and tribulations. He was imprisoned several times, leading up to 40, for several offenses, one of which was aggravated robbery. This earned him a jail time of 20 years, and despite being only 16 years of age, he was charged as an adult. It is expected that a person who ventured into selling drugs in their teenage years would have a history or tendency of drug abuse. Jelly Roll's case was not any different, as he admitted to abusing substances like cocaine and Xanax. He was also jailed at age 23 for dealing with drugs. After serving his jail time and getting released in 2009, his music career went afloat when he got noticed by another musician, Lil White. This recognition put him in the spotlight and got him some level of fame. From 2011, his music career took up a great spike, and he got recognition from top artists in the industry. He got nominated for several awards, and won some of them, one of which is New Artist of the Year. His acceptance speech at the event gained a lot of traction and sparked reactions. In the speech, he attempted to motivate people to keep working towards their dreams, regardless of whatever is going on. Beyond winning this award and delivering this highly inspiring speech, Jelly Roll has indirectly inspired people in other ways, one of which is his fitness journey. In December 2024, on one episode of his wife's podcast, In Dumb Blonde, she gave him accolades for losing so much weight without having any artificial intake. Losing 100 pounds naturally was a testament to how resilient he is, and a lot of his fans are inspired by that. These two souls, each shaped by wildly chaotic pasts, could never have imagined building something so beautiful and magical together. Yet their strikingly different personalities spark one irresistible question. How did their paths first cross? The coincidental meetup. For Jelly Roll and Bunnie Xo, meeting each other was not at all planned or thought out. It happened coincidentally, without plans of a romantic involvement. According to him, they met backstage at one of his performances in Las Vegas in 2015. They had an interaction, and it was the beginning of what they now share. At the time, Jelly Roll was in a fix. He had financial setbacks, as he was living in a van. He was also trying to get custody of his daughter, whom he had with another woman. Amidst all of this, Bunnie was determined to stand by him till he got it all together. Not only did she offer support to him financially to get him back on his feet, she saw to it that he made headway in his music career. According to Jelly himself, Bunnie always told him that he was going to be a superstar, even when he was struggling to sell $200 tickets. Jelly Roll has said in multiple podcasts, interviews, and social media posts that Bunnie is an important part of his life and has shown him nothing but pure affection. He talks about how kind and patient she is, and how she is the best partner he could ask for. 1 year into their relationship in 2016, Jelly Roll took a moment of limelight to propose to Bunnie during his performance in Las Vegas. This power couple decided that they didn't have to follow the conventional way of doing things as it was their own marriage. And so, unlike the tradition of making an announcement, involving and planning a wedding with the family, they ran to the courthouse that very night and got married just a few minutes before the courthouse was to close. They embraced how spontaneous that moment was and seized the opportunity to make a lifetime commitment to each other, though impromptu. As enviable as the relationship between Jelly Roll and Bunnie Xo are, they have always been people who do things at random and spontaneously. The best part is how they both complement each other in this aspect. Jelly shared on Facebook that as a couple, they never take anything too seriously. This would probably explain why they got married without making elaborate preparation or any preparation at all. He also shared an answer to a frequently asked question: "What is the secret to your happy marriage?" He said that he and his wife are both great communicators, and they always made sure to talk about even the most uncomfortable things. In the early stage of their relationship, Jelly was trying to get custody of his daughter, Bailey. Bunnie played a significant role in making this happen for him in 2017. She has since then become a stepmother to both Bailey and Noah, Jelly's son, with another woman. Both publicly and privately, Jelly has commended and appreciated her efforts, consideration, love, and support towards him right from the beginning of their relationship. He has also spoken about how Bunnie is dedicated at taking care of Bailey and Noah as though she gave birth to them. He appreciates the bond that has been created between her and the kids, especially Bailey. He acknowledged that it is not easy to take care of children that aren't biologically yours, and it's not something just anyone would be willing to do. The romantic spark between Jelly Roll and Bunnie Xo is truly beautiful to see, and has gotten each one of them more recognition and love than before. People often commend Bunnie's ability to stand up for herself and her husband when people make insensitive comments about his weight or their marriage in general. Presently, Bunnie does not have any biological kids with Jelly. She has, however, spoken about unfortunate cases of losing 2 ectopic pregnancies. She also mentioned on her podcast earlier this year that she's currently undergoing in vitro fertilization. She's open to the idea of expanding their family, as she says she wants to have a piece of herself and Jelly in addition to the 2 kids they currently raise. Raising Bailey, who is now 16 years old, from the age of 7 has helped her catch a glimpse of what it's like to raise a child, and she says she now feels ready to be a parent. In 2023, 7 years after getting married, Bunnie and Jelly returned to the exact spot where they got married, to renew their vows. It was a moment of pure ecstasy for both of them, and it also got them true admiration from their loved ones. Even the strongest form of love or affection faces stormy times, and when it comes in the form of a health issue, it truly tests the strength of what you share. What's the update on Jelly Roll's health scare? The calm after the storm. After the period of living as a shadow of herself, Bunnie still felt like she needed to get a third opinion, and so she went in for another test with her neurologist. It was then confirmed there that what she had was a misdiagnosis, and she, in fact, did not have an aneurysm. What was diagnosed as an aneurysm was simply a normal blood vessel mirroring on her carotid artery. Her neurologist confirmed that she was perfectly okay. This information took her from a place of pain and sorrow, first to a place of shock, and then to a place of gratitude. She named the misdiagnosis as not just a health scare, but a death scare, because in that period, she felt and went through all sorts of emotions and physical symptoms. She was grateful that she was fine, but beyond being happy, it made her appreciate the concept of family more. During the period of the diagnosis, Jelly Roll was a constant support system for her and showed her true affection. They went through that phase together, and finding out about the misdiagnosis strengthened their bond. The news of the misdiagnosis did not immediately make her happy as one would expect. Because of how heart-wrenching the diagnosis was for her, she couldn't bring herself to immediately be happy and celebrate. It took a bit of time for her to step back, reevaluate things, and rebuild her emotions, which were shattered by the first and second diagnosis. The initial diagnosis and news of misdiagnosis made Bunnie Xo very overwhelmed, but the presence of a supportive partner made a lot of difference. Jelly Roll's response to Bunnie's diagnosis. The news of this diagnosis came as a huge blow not just to Bunnie Xo, but also to her husband, Jelly Roll. As a couple with great chemistry and bond, they shared the same reactions to the diagnosis. Jelly, who had taken every opportunity to show off how much he loves his wife, also showered her with so much support during that period. He shared in her pain and admitted to feeling bad that she had to go through something that painful. Despite how painful the situation was, he was there for her as a rock that she could rely on and a solid support system. He took to social media to post well wishes for her and even encouraged her fans to do likewise. On finding out that the diagnosis was wrong, he was truly excited for his wife and their whole family. It also changed his approach and perspective on how he viewed life to be. Just like his wife, it made him more appreciative of family and loved ones. Beyond bringing relief, the news of the misdiagnosis also came with something else for Bunnie: open doors of reflection, lessons from the scare. For Bunnie Xo, the misdiagnosis was beyond an error, but a learning moment. It made her understand how fragile life really is and why it should be cherished. The experience of already emotionally responding to such a life-threatening diagnosis and then suddenly finding out that it's a wrong one is more impactful than we know it to be. This experience made her even more conscious of her body and pay attention to every sign, no matter how minor it may seem. She has also now become an advocate for not ignoring and detecting any body signs early enough. The scare has shaped her perspective on quite a number of things that she holds dearly, including the decision to have a child with her husband. She has understood how precious it is and is now more patient, though hopeful. Beyond just it being about her, her fans and followers have also found strength to share stories of their health scares. They've been able to draw confidence from her story. Her misdiagnosis has impacted both her family and even strangers on the internet. It has awakened a consciousness in people to pay attention to signs from their bodies and have it checked as soon as they can. It has also inspired people to work towards getting more than one opinion on health matters. Bunnie Xo's situation has motivated people to keep pushing and asking questions when they're unsatisfied with health conditions, test results, or diagnoses. The misdiagnosis strengthened Bunnie's and Jelly's relationship. They went through the grieving stage together and stood by each other. This brought them closer. It serves as a lesson that oftentimes, challenges help strengthen our bond with loved ones. Going through certain stages together can help to create a stronger friendship or relationship. Bunnie Xo's misdiagnosis is not a rare one. According to a report from BMJ Quality and Safety in 2014, about 12 million people are affected by wrong diagnosis every year. Half of these errors could be harmful to the person. Report also shows that 40,000 to 80,000 of these people die annually from these misdiagnoses. This just lays further emphasis on Bunnie's advice to people to get second or, if possible, third opinions on health issues, tests, and diagnoses. What are your thoughts on the misdiagnosis? Do you think she feels a sense of gratitude for the clarity it ultimately brought? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.